You knew. Judge Fiend ruled that Melly should be released before the trial began. Following the mistrial, on Friday afternoon, March 28, Raven Liberty, Melly's lawyer, submitted a second application for pre-trial release to the Broward County Clerk. Due to the harsh conditions of custody and the extended delays, the 9-page brief makes the case that, and a lack of conviction, Melly's lawyers replied. The motion argues that Florida law allows pre-trial release in capital cases unless the state proves guilt is evident. For the purpose of ensuring his presence at trial, Melly had requested freedom with reasonable limitations. Thus, a substantial presumption of guilt exists. A member of the Rogo block spied on Melly and revealed that her goal for committing the crime was to avoid sharing money with the other YNW members, which was the reason why the prosecution did not release her from jail when the first trial failed.
Did Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walk the bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around him?
In return, Melly and Bortland promoted businesses, sold items, and gave performances, but Sack Kaser and Juvie demanded a cut of the profits. Unfortunately, Van told O-Black members about this before he died because YNW is a registered business, even though Melly was meant to keep it a secret from King Vaughn. Money, but didn't work hard to acquire it. But if you know King Van's history and how he handled situations, you may guess how Van would have told Melly to manage it. Adding to the fact that Melly confessed to the crime in a text message sent hours after it occurred, and that proof was found on his phone makes matters worse.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
But on Melly's phone, there was also a saved video from someone's Facebook Live that showed Melly and Bortland reacting to the murder 6 hours after it happened.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! But no, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
Sergeant Williams had said at the first trial that the murder could not have been a drive-by, and the lead prosecutor, who showed no regret for the death of the two closest friends, would then go into great detail about the physical evidence of the crime, including the Jeep they were driving in.
How many rounds were inside the car?
3. From the driver's side back seat.
As to the shot that Christopher Thomas, where did that come from?
Driver's side back seat.
No.
My determination was that this is not a drive-by, and it's based upon this picture here. At a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in. The one round that has some movement in it, which is round site L here, the actually moving in that.
After Williams acknowledged during the Melly trial that the crime had to have taken place inside the automobile, Juvie's mother testified and named the individual sitting inside.
Can you state your name? Your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How's that?
I'm his mother,
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
Then Melly's lawyer could present his case for release, telling newly appointed Judge Fien that no firearm had ever been found during the first trial.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay.
Besides offering GPS evidence indicating he was running down the street at the time of the crime.
That would be the part where he's saying that someone just shot the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, yeah, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sack and Juvie? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're.
The widely shared tweet, Judge Fien confirms Melly should be allowed a chance of a bond release until trial begins, stating he's been sitting in jail for several years without a conviction. It's just not right, said that he would let Melly's ex-girlfriend go free while the judge read the evidence supporting the release. Melly's ex-girlfriend Maria tweeted on February 9th, "Thank you to my tribe. I adore you all so much." Her family and friends who supported her during her incarceration were acknowledged with the words, "God's plan, not mine." According to reports, she didn't like how the local news covered this.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
Did you know, though, that Melly was successful with this? The fact that Melly has supposedly been in our jail for 2,159 days has startled everyone, even Melly, who must choose his attorney.
No, but let me repeat myself. Mr. Demons has to make an informed decision about who he wants as lawyers. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days. So, how long would you like to be able to make that decision?
I can't determine when the investigation will be over. That's up to the Broward Sheriff's Office, but I can, as I said, I'm just asking for, and then I'm asking for at least a day or two. At minimum.
Decide by tomorrow. I've also reserved all of tomorrow.
He merely said, "Give us your final reasoning why he shouldn't be free by tomorrow, or I'm releasing him on bond," when the court recognized how long Melly had been behind bars. Prosecutors then did the worst thing they could, forcing Bortland to turn on Melly. They are now filing paperwork to have Bortland and Melly tried together for one reason.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together, just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. Guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
Bortland cannot be condemned to life in jail if he knows he did not commit this horrible murder, according to common sense. Consequently, he is inclined to place the responsibility on Melly. It might surprise you to hear, though, that during the first trial, Melly's lawyer tried to place the responsibility on Portland.
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. And you don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
Proving Bortland was with Juvie and Sackchaser when they died, that he is the one with the powder on his hands, and that Bortlen has always been the one lying to the federal authorities. They even mentioned a forensic expert who covered the fatalities to explain Bortlen's hands smeared with powder.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained two component particles, and the left hand contained one particle characteristic of tar residue and one two-component particle.
And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was tar residue present on the hands.
One report that circulated after Melly's mistrial was authorized stated, Bortlen tweets a mysterious message on the same day Melly's mistrial was declared. Bortlen didn't like it all, which is why this happened. The message reads, "Mind games don't work on people like me. Furthermore, a handshake." Melly's present problems are only beginning, but it appears like he is consenting to a deal. While he was on trial, Melly's mother made headlines by creating a fan page. Did you know that? After that, she was questioned about why she did it and her income.
Why did you decide to break the internet the other day? You're saying that you're YNW Melly's mom and you're about to hit fans.
Why not? You make money while you sleep, and I turned 40 this year. Why not do something crazy?
Did you start it yet though?
What? My only? Yeah.
How much you made the first day? I just need to know the first day.
The first day was pretty epic. It was pretty epic.
Give me a ballpark figure.
Like 40-ish, 50.
One day?
Day one.
On the internet went viral. This is what DJ Academics also had to say.
So YNW Melly's mom has announced that she's gonna be starting the old. And I gotta be honest with y'all, man, like, this is perplexing. The reason why it's perplexing is because I can't understand why she's doing this. Your son is fighting for his life. How much, there's certain mothers in hip hop, and you probably could name a few, I won't name all of them, that I feel like their son became stars, but they also wanted to be stars as well. Blueface's mom is one of them. The situation between Melly's mom and Melly, I always thought was interesting, but I never thought she'd be doing this. If you're wondering if she's doing this for money, this can't be a money play. Like, no way, no how.
DJ Academics said that it had nothing to do with money, but social media would disagree, as shown by a serious conversation with Adam B. Slime and Jamie King 2 years ago. Melly's mother laughs as B. Slime calls out Melly's stupid purchases after Adam informs her that he believes Melly has spent a lot of money on lawyers.
I would assume that he spent a lot of money on lawyers. Like an amount that would probably...
That kid spent a lot of money on a lot of things that shouldn't have been spent on.
Really? Like what else?
And cars, jewelry. And he's not even out to wear the jewelry. I'm like, why are you buying jewelry? You're not here to wear the jewelry.
No, definitely lawyers are probably the best thing you can spend
That's
money
what
on.
bro. But
Yeah.
he's good with lawyers, bro. Like, money ain't an issue for lawyers. Like, he's fine, but it's just like, there was a lot of stuff that should have went to lawyers that he didn't spend on lawyers. And I'm like, bro. And now it's like, he don't even want the chain no more.
Since Melly had to keep asking about her well-being throughout the first trial, Jamie King's struggle since setting up a fan account might possibly be an attempt to divert her attention from Melly's trial. But did you realize that Melly is about to have more financial difficulties? Regardless of whether Melly removed Sackchaser and Juvie, they found disturbing evidence in Maria's iCloud account that she had been forced to not testify at the trial by Melly. It's known as witness tampering, and it carries a minimum life sentence.
Filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
Although the witness tampering case would be separate from his ongoing prosecution of Sackchaser and Juvie's death, which would result in higher legal fees, the FBI began investigating Mariah after people in Melly's community began talking about her in detail. Involvement in this offense This prompted Juvie's father to start his investigation. During his trial, he conducted interviews with members of the neighborhood and learned the code words Melly used to pressure Maria into not testifying against him.
There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, trying to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom.
Because Melly tampered with the jail phones, he will be sentenced to life in prison if proven guilty of witness tampering charges alone. Melly has been kept off of a phone for a number of months. The situation worsened to the point where Melly's mother, Jamie King, even exposed the county jail for denying him access to a phone in his mail in an interview.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
But if it is true that Melly has been tampering with witnesses using the jail phones, they will have to conceal the evidence until the trial starts because they wouldn't keep him off if it was only a suspicion. Jamie King would subsequently reveal that she is heartbroken for her kid and feels helpless because he isn't even receiving humane treatment in prison.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
This, however, garnered a lot of media attention, especially from industry insiders, as Charleston White retorted that Melly shouldn't be given preferential treatment and that this is the way people should live.
The YNW Melly, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing about being mistreated. When you done chose to play, think somebody.
When Boozy saw this, he would talk about Jamie King's stress levels.
Okay.
Then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
You stressed out. I heard she had a.
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.